In episode 1, the opening scene is in the theatre and there is a performance of King Lear, and King Lear is played by Gael Garcia Bernal. Mid-performance, it looks as though he doesn't look very well, or he's possibly having a heart attack and he collapses on stage. Everyone thinks this is part of his dramatic performance, but one man in the audience sees that he's in trouble and goes up to the stage to help. He's not a doctor though, his name is Jeevan, and he seems to be a do-gooder, which might kind of annoy his girlfriend. In the resulting chaos of Arthur's heart attack, which he doesn't survive by the way, one of the child actors, Kirsten, who is in the play, looks stranded and Jeevan notices her as well. After struggling to find her wrangler and then having her wrangler kind of abandon her, Jeevan offers to take her to her home on the subway. 10 days before this, we see a woman come to see Arthur while he was still alive, and she says she's finally finished her book. It looks like a graphic novel and it's called Station 11. On the train, meanwhile, in the present day, Jeevan gets a call from his sister Sia, a doctor, telling him about a flu that has broken out. She tells him that they've never seen anything like it before, and she warns him to avoid contact with anyone and not to believe what the news says. He should go to Frank's house because that's his best chance of surviving. Jeevan and Kirsten get to her home, but nobody's there, so he has to take her with him. They do a big grocery shop to stock up on supplies, and my heart kind of broke for the cashier who asks if he should go somewhere. Basically, the world is ending outside and this guy still has to pack groceries, even though Jeevan does advise him to leave. Then we see what it's like in Sia's hospital. There's quite a bit of chaos. Everyone is coughing. I'm so anxious because a lot of people aren't wearing masks, but I think they're kind of already done for at this point. Outside, there's pandemonium with desperate people trying to get help, backed up traffic. Sia herself develops a nasty cough. It's not looking good. Jeevan and Kirsten finally make it back to Frank's, and just then, a plane crashes outside of his apartment. They don't really mention it, but it doesn't look like the virus has much of an incubation period. 80 days later, it looks like Kirsten is still with Jeevan. They come out of the apartment to see the doorman dead. The world looks like it just hasn't moved and everything is frozen over. Then we have a scene of someone in space, I think. At the end of the first episode, we see adult Kirsten by the beach. She's reading the Station 11 graphic novel as someone calls out to her that they're rehearsing. In episode 2, we see year 2, and Kirsten looks a little wild and unkempt. Her clothes are dirty, she's in survival mode, and Jeevan is nowhere to be seen. Then she meets a lady named Sarah who kind of takes her under her wing. Fast forward to year 20 and we see Kirsten is still with Sarah and a troupe of actors who only perform Shakespeare plays. They're called a traveling symphony and they're quite well known and talented. At one point, one of her co-stars asks if Kirsten is okay because she knows that the place kind of reminds her of Jeevan. Then we get a memory of her back in year 1. Kirsten is with Jeevan and Frank. She's trying to get hold of her parents. It's still early days though, but her parents don't respond until one day she eventually gets a text from one of her parents' phones. It's from someone saying that the owner of the phone is in the mortuary and not to go there. By the way, there's a stranger who had earlier joined their acting symphony, and he mentioned something in passing to Kirsten that grabs her attention. To the monsters, we're the monsters. I don't trust him at all. He tells Kirsten that it's important that he and his son stay with the symphony, and when she says no, he says that her friends are going to start to disappear. She asks him again where he heard the saying, to the monsters, we're the monsters, and he says he heard it from the prophecy. She stabs him, but the next morning she sees that he somehow survived and his son is taking him home. On the rocks, written in blood, are some symbols that look like the letter T or hooks. Kirsten has that same letter as a tattoo on her hand. And that was the first 2 episodes of Station 11. I do think that because I only watched each episode once, I didn't manage to catch every single clue on the show, but this show is teeming with them. They were left with more questions than answers at this point. It's still pretty early. I wonder what happened to Jeevan and Frank. Who was the lady who gave Arthur the Station 11 book? And why does it look like the astronaut helmet in the book matches the one that we see in the actual scene in episode 1. So yeah, I'm going to have to carry on with this. I was going to anyway though because I adore Mackenzie Davis. I watched the Terminator movie for her, but I also really like the character of Jeevan. I'm very intrigued. I have no idea where this is going, so I'm definitely going to be streaming it. Anyway, that's it for this video. Thank you for watching.